What's up, fellow gamers? This is going to be a hopefully relatively concise video about what weapons are actually available in Saturday Night's Flashpoint right now. Of course, when I'm recording this is late March 2025. It is still early access, about 2 months before release. I'm sure there'll be much more content coming in, not only before release, but obviously after here as well. But after be playing pretty early on, I wanted to bring up how valuable it is to try to flesh out these high-level power play sort of gear pieces and sort of talk about what they provide. So for Origami Joe, I've managed to max out both of his imported weaponry. This is this comes out of a legwork, and you end up getting imported weapons. These come in at, I forget if it's like level 2 or something, but you can get them up to level 4, both weaponry and weapon mods. And then Diego got the Rook prototype power play. Origami Joe got the Fadelight Blades power play. We also managed to max out street guns and street mods for Diego here as well. So I'm going to take a tour of what stuff is available here, and we'll go in probably order of excitement. So we'll start with weapons, sort by powerful and rare, and we're going to start with Diego here. So Diego is the one who's got both street guns, which is what you're going to see here. Here's all like level 1 and 2 street guns up to around, let's see, up to around here. Yeah, right here is level 2 street guns. Then we get level 3 street guns for around up to here. If you ever want to like pause and look at the data, of course you can, up to here. And then for level 4, the razor wire, these things, I think the light fire is part of it, 6 shots part of it, Chicago Series, Iron Sight. These are all parts of level 4 street guns. So we'll go over those in a little bit. But what he gets in special is when you get the Rook Tech power play, these 12 guns are available between power level 4 and power level 8. Now, the actual number here is authoritative. Basically, if it says it's level 4, level 5, whatever, that is actually the level that it shows up at, with maybe one exception, but let's talk about it. Okay, so when you get to Rook Tech level 4, you get actually a really good urban assault for that point in time. The Torch XL with 42 pure damage per bullet is very good. This is basically, for current weapons in the game right now in early access, this is basically top-end pure damage per bullet. If you're not using an E-rifle. The range here is fine. 16 to 23 is pretty normal for an urban assault. Urban assaults always have very good arc. 72 here is pretty solid. Overall, this ends up being a really good power spike. And if you can get the Rook Tech power play and slam on a few torches, honestly, you're looking pretty good here. Especially if you weren't getting lucky with blueprints, or you didn't get a limit break or 2 on imported weaponry. The torch is actually really good. To compare it directly to the Rook Ultra H8, I think this is just strictly superior in almost all contexts. So you're going to see, so the Rook Tech E-rifle is going to be the higher number here, so it's less accurate in the things that you care about, which is full auto. It overall in damage per bullet is higher. 100 pure plus 100 ballistic is going to be better than 170 ballistic plus 42 pure. The problem, though, is it shoots only 4 bullets compared to the Torch's 9. And as a result, if you're hitting only 2 people, which means you're not even using all 9 bullets, the Torch already outdamages. It already outdamages. The expected shred is better. The range is better. The fact you're not running out of reloads is better. The number of shots in a magazine is better. The amount of action points to reload is better. Not having to only have 3 reloads is better. I guess the noise is better on the E-rifle, sure. That's one thing that you can kind of claim as something that's more valuable. But realistically, you're just better off using the Torch. But again, it is actually a really good weapon for that point in time. You go to PL5, and what you end up getting is a Bodyguard CQ compared to the Torch, and honestly, there's no shot this is going to be any better. You get 1 meter of range, okay, but you're trading off 20 ballistic for 42 pure. Not going to happen. You're not going to bother grabbing this. You do get a shotgun, though, the Koso 13. I don't think this is very valuable. So every single Rook Tech shotgun, you get one at level 5, level 6, level 7, and level 8. None of them have the double armor shred trait. Now, this may be intentional. It might be a bug. This might change shortly if they fix it or change it in 2 weeks and they add double armor shred to these shotguns. But compared to, say, like a level 4 street shotgun, like, let me scroll down and actually find one, because here, like, here's the Warthog. Oh, I guess it doesn't have it either. Okay, I'm griefing. Imported shotguns do, though. And so do high-level crafted shotguns. So depending on what you have access to, you might not have double shred somewhere else. But realistically, I find shotguns to be very poor in terms of damage output. Like, we can compare to the Torch from before. And if I shoot a Torch full auto, I'm getting 170 ballistic plus 42 pure times 3. Up to 3 people each, which is just going to be way more damage the shotgun deals, right? At a range of 23 meters or 16 meters here for the urban assault, it's just kind of going to be nice in the shotgun. Yeah, the shotgun's a little bit quieter, but shotgun reach is, you know, noise is 38 meters, the reach is only 11. It's just not really worth it here. Yes, shotguns have very, very good baseline accuracy. It's actually very easy then to get within the 5-meter range to guarantee a glancing hit, which is nice. It's something. But since glancing hits can't shred armor, you're losing out on some of the high value here. Again, which makes accuracy itself a very, very good stat. But you have to close the gap to get there, which means you have fewer action points to actually attack with, and it's just not that exciting. This is okay damage, but by the point in time where you've gotten a power play limit break, and then you limit break the actual Rook Tech power play, they got another limit break to get Rook Tech level 5, you're at least 3 limit breaks in on your Gunrunner Mercenary. That could have instead been getting level 3, level 4 of street guns, or level 3, level 4 of imported guns. And honestly, at that point, if you have that kind of gear, you're better off with that stuff than the shotgun. We go on to level 6 though, we get the Fire Sweeper. Compared to the Bodyguard CQ, it's a strict upgrade here. More accurate, more damage, more bullets, more range a little bit, better arc, all wonderful stuff here. Recoil, you know, it might matter if you're doing more than 1 full auto per turn. Sure, okay, fine. Otherwise, pretty standard UAR stuff. Is it better than the Torch? I would still say no. 1 meter of range is cute, but I would take 42 pure damage over 45 ballistic damage every single time. Pure damage is, I would say, at least twice as useful as ballistic damage, and so you're still doing way more damage here on the Torch XL, so you can get limit break, but I wouldn't really care. Shotgun upgrades a little bit, 10 damage to accuracy, 1 meter. I'm glad we're finally at 12 meter shotguns, that's useful. But again, you compare it to its neighbor here in the Fire Sweeper, and, you know, it's 12 meters range versus 17 meters range, and again, 3 bullets that do 215 damage is 600 ballistic damage for 3 AP. This is 400 ballistic damage for 2 AP. I mean, damage per AP is equivalent, except that the Urban Assault has more range, can hit more than 1 person, arguably actually shreds better because the actual chance to shred a target hitting them 3 times at 30% is going to be around 70% shred. It's actually probably higher than the shotgun itself. So I still wouldn't go for this. Way too much usability here on the Fire Sweeper. The one downside being the noise at 45 meters, but it's not that different. You can put a silencer if you really have to. It's not the end of the world. But then Rook Tech 7 is where it gets really, really, really nice. The Caracol? Shoot, I looked it up and then forgot what it was. Either way, this is probably the single best Urban Assault in the game. There's a level 6 crafted Urban that has bonus range, but it does not do this much damage, so I think the Torch has been beating the E-Rifle, it's been beating these other 2 UARs as well, but compared to this one, we're actually getting a strict upgrade here. 7 accuracy, around 50 ballistic damage. It's only 5 pure damage, but it's something. 3 meters of max range, 2 meters of optimal range, 18 degrees of arc. Noise plus 4, who cares? It doesn't matter. These are all kind of the same. Again, you can manage recoil, but that's just the life of playing a soldier. You can use Iron Grip, you're going to be fine. You can put in recoil ankles, you're going to be fine. You can go into... what is it? You can go into Gunslinger and get Trigger Vector and ignore recoil entirely. Honestly, figure out how to deal with recoil. It's worth it. It's not the point of these guns. You're going to be fine. If you're going single target, it's okay. I mean, this is fine. It's not exciting, but it's fine. 208 plus 60 is okay for 2 AP. Regardless, what you're excited about, again, is just the fact that this is just really nice overall. Strict upgrade. Are you going to get 4 targets in your cone? Maybe. It'll be tough. Thankfully, 18 meters optimal is not that rough then for getting 4 people. If you're going to play with a Vanguard in your team, you can use Lure to put them all together, or an Agent EX for Shadow. It's worth it because the damage here is pretty absurd. If you get a crit, you're probably killing the entire squad. This is really, really good damage. If you're looking to farm an achievement, this is a good gun for it. This is, I think, the best Urban Assault in the game. You've got to deal with the range disparity compared to a regular AR or even the Matchmaker, the level 6 crafted Urban Assault. But yeah, this is the best. I wouldn't say it's still the best gun in the game. Damage per bullet is rivaled against the high-level crafted assault rifles, and I would take the range over the bullet count here, but that's up to you. You can actually make that consideration and go here instead. This is definitely fighting for best gun of the game, though to me it's still number 1. But really, really good stuff. Going to level 7 shotgun, you get, again, just a small linear bump here, another 10 ballistic, another 4 armor shred, no accuracy here. Arc is just for Overwatch, doesn't really do much else there. It's fine. You can have a really, really wide Overwatch cone. Base accuracy is good. I will say shotguns are really good Overwatch weapons because their base accuracy is high. And they have the best, semi-auto damage in the game because you can't shoot full auto as Overwatch. So in a world where you're using Overwatch a ton, That is something that shotguns are good at, don't get me wrong. 2 AP to reload 4 shots isn't horrible. To be fair, red assaults are literally better at this. It's, 6 shots for 2 AP. But yeah, again, baseline accuracy is very good here. Baseline damage very, very good. This can sometimes one-shot people. It's okay. However, what it also gives you is a very, very exciting level 7 E-rifle. This is the best E-rifle in the game. I think it is better than the Rook Ultra H13. We'll talk about that one later. This is actually quite good. This has the ability to out-damage the Carousel. So we can kind of compare directly, and you can see that, okay, I have half the bullets, that matters. Losing 100 ballistic, but I'm gaining about 100 pure, right? So I'm hitting 2 targets, and probably even if I'm hitting 3 targets, I'm going to out-damage. This is a really good amount of damage. Based on accuracy, very solid at 76. Recoil, again, whatever. Difficulty is that it's 4 reloads and it's 3 AP to reload, so you're only getting 2 full auto shots, then it's a reload. That reload's going to cost you a full shot of action points, a full auto, and then again, you get 2 shots for reload again. It's, 3 reloads a mission. If you're ever playing a multi-stage mission, immediately run for the hills, do not run this weapon. But haze noise radius, only 34, that's playable. Again, your actual optimal range is 16. You're going to be accurate to around 20 meters. You're going to be worse at long-range targeting, but you're only going for 2 targets at a time. Again, I want to point out that the fact that you're throwing down 400 pure damage per target is just going to one-shot everything. You don't need crit. They will simply die, which means you probably would rather hit 3 targets at once with 2 bullets each. You're still getting 260 pure damage each with about 200 ballistic damage each. That's going to come close to one-shotting. If you crit, it will. Yeah, this is really good damage. This scales up to everything in the game right now. You won't like one-shot drones, but this is really, really good damage. If they ever nerf things like Savagery or Iron Grip, which prints a bunch of extra pure damage on top, you're going to have a really hard time out damaging this gun. So this is something to be excited about. And it's at Rook Tech 7, right? This gives you the best UAR in the game and the best E-rifle in the game, Rook Tech 7. Hey, this is really worth considering. These are very, very good guns. For the right purpose, these are 2 of the best guns in the game, absolutely. Now, what's interesting is when you go to Rook Tech 8, the shotgun is just a straight upgrade again. 2 accuracy, 15 ballistic damage, 4 armor shred. Again, still doesn't have the double shred passive. You keep the range, you get a little bit of arc. The noise goes down, who cares? Like, man, whatever. You're just getting a very, very small incremental upgrade. And again, I think getting 10, 15 ballistic damage per upgrade, not very meaningful. I don't think shotguns are very strong right now. We'll see if that ever changes. If they ever add some new mechanics or retune them or whatever. But honestly, I would not be excited about this. It's not a very big deal. I will say this finally gets to the point where it's probably out-damaging the best crafted shotguns in the game. If you want to do some comparisons, I have a spreadsheet on my other monitor here. The actual damage per bullet on this stuff against a low armor target, like a basic grunt, is going to rival. It's going to be like basically tied with the crafted pure damage shotgun, the heavy Koso. That gun, though, only has 8 meters optimal range, and so this thing heavily outranges it and does a better job. If you want to compare it to the Mark 24 Bounty Hunter, which has the same range profile here, this actually out-damages that gun, which is useful. It's got 25 more ballistic damage than that gun, which means the Wrecker is in a similar boat here, where this gun also arguably out-damages the Mark 24 Bounty Hunter. The difference, though, is that and we can tab over later, but there are better weapon mods in crafting than in the market. And if you get late enough into the game where you have limit broken all the way to level 7 or level 8 Rook Tech weapons, and you've also limit broken to max level imported mods or max level street mods, and you've got like some kind of okay shotgun mods there, almost certainly you're going to be you'll have even better craftable mods to put on your shotguns, which will then take them back over again. And so realistically, by the time you would even unlock these, you should probably be able to craft better shotguns from your nanofab, and so you probably will never get use out of these. Spending a long time for talking about a really small thing there, but we can talk about the fact that the Rook Ultra H13, I would say, is probably not as good as the Technoviolent. You lose a lot of accuracy, you have more damage per bullet, which is nice, but you're not really getting anything else here. And to me, unless you are confident that you are printing a lot of accuracy on your team, aka you've got a sniper covering you and putting down JTAC and Strike Zone to make all your accuracy look really, really, really good, you've got to make up a lot of accuracy to make up for a pretty small damage bump. 6 pure damage per bullet, I don't care. 40 ballistic damage per bullet, okay, that's meaningful. That actually does matter. But if I'm going to lose 15% of my damage roughly from accuracy, that's not making up for this. And so in many, many contexts, it's going to be a downgrade. If you can't fully cover all your recoil costs, sure, the recoil's a bit better here by 5, but like it's not 15. You know, yes, if you actually have plus 40 accuracy for a bunch of sources, downer pops, and you've got marker sights going, and you've got strike zone going, all these other things, okay, sure. If you can print enough accuracy but you don't care about the stat at all, then congratulations, the Ultra H13 is better here, but realistically, I'm not going to go for that. Finally, we talk about the one other change here, which is the Montreal series. So we'll actually do it now to compare. This is another 12 bullet urban assault, just like this one is. 247 ballistic per bullet, 77 accuracy. These are all fine. No pure damage here. But the exciting thing, or the interesting thing here, is the fact that it is a 4 ammo clip, 1 AP reload. Now, the tough thing with urban assaults is full auto still costs 3 action points, which can matter, right? Because unless you can get 7 AP on a turn, that reload isn't helping you any. You can squeeze in a single target shot afterwards, which can give you a little something there, but with 4 ammo per shot, I mean, you get to do 2 full autos, and then on turn 3, you reload and get 1 full auto. Assault rifle is the same boat, roughly, where, you know, you're losing a fair bit, but like, I would rather get 3 full turns of full autoing, and then on turn 4, I'm getting 1. Like, I just... The smaller magazine size is really meaningful. Also keep in mind, like, we can give you those comparisons. Accuracy is lower. 47 pure damage versus 30 ballistic. Of course, take the pure damage. This is doing less damage per full auto. All the other metrics here around range and stuff are the same. But yeah, I would rather have a 6x2 magazine than a 4x1 magazine. I'm not sure if mathematically it's actually better for the action points per, like, shot or whatever, but I know I'd rather have more damage, and so it kind of reinforces that, well, Rook Tech 7 is kind of what you care about here, and that's where the best stuff is. So that's the Rook Tech rundown. Let's move on. We do have, again, maxed out street guns from Diego here as well, so we'll cover those real quick. The basic rundown is that level 1 and 2 weapons, so all the way up to here, are already available on mission start. The biggest thing to me is the Street Dragon is awesome. You want to compare it to the starting assault rifle. Street Dragon has better full auto accuracy, 7 ballistic, and 28 pure damage here, plus 1 range. A meaningful increase in arc to actually help you get 2 targets in the full auto. That's really, really awesome. Your downside is 10 recoil. Now, very early into the game, you're going to have a hard time covering this recoil. This is actually pretty meaningful. If you've got a turn where you're throwing down tactical surge and coordinated charge, and you're getting to your target pretty reliably with 6 AP up, which is actually really easy with those buffs, you're gonna have a lot of painful accuracy losses here on your second shot. That part's meaningful, right? That actually does matter. And even the single target damage, I mean, it is better because of the pure damage here, but you could argue that, well, if you want to ignore your recoil and go single target, then we can compare the Street Dragon to, like, maybe the Swift kit. And, okay, well, if I'm going single target here, right, Street Dragon is in red and green. Yeah, my accuracy is 4 lower, but, like, minus 30 ballistic, plus 45 pure. I'm still doing more damage per shot almost always. It's not like my range is any worse here. I go to full auto, my accuracy is better in full auto. Minus 13 ballistic, plus 28 pure, strictly better. Better arc, again. Yeah, recoil is going to matter a little bit. 8 more recoil, sure, but like, why buy this when for 5k more you can buy Street Dragon, right? Like, why bother? This is, as far as I'm concerned, strictly better. In any realistic situation, you're just going to go buy Street Dragon. It's not going to be a problem. If you're going to use, you know, weapon upgrades, to me, I really like going for the stun stick over the slant blade. I lose 100 kinetic, I gain 90 pure. That's just more damage outright. I will generally take the 1-turn stun over the 100 pure damage on the battery. I even get a 3rd battery charge, which is pretty useful here. Everything else is the same, right? Accuracy, armor shred, all this kind of stuff. So to me, I take the 3rd mark. This also means if I am a Cyber Sword and I'm throwing up walls using Aegis, again, I have 3 battery for the map, not 2 battery for the map. It's very helpful. Yeah, so overall, I think that's quite good. But if you want to look, right, I'm just going to kind of scroll through. You can look at the numbers here on each of the guns. Feel free. But that's going to be sort of my recommendation for early upgrades here. The long sight is quite loud, 54 meters. Makes that kind of rough. Secure Shot, I think, is a very worthwhile upgrade. If you want to compare to the Defensor, you get, for accuracy, the 10 damage is actually bigger than you think because silencers drop 15 damage. So it's really 145 becomes 155, which is a 10%, well, not quite a 10%, like a 7% damage increase, which is, you know, decent. With the accuracy here, it's actually 10% more damage, which is kind of nice. Regardless, though, we move on to the fact that, yeah, these are the guns that we get. Here's the level 2 Urban Assault and the Sniper, or the other AA that we're not going to buy. You get level 3 Street Guns. You get the Warthog over the SR Destroyer. 20 damage, 2 shred. Not bad. The Chrome Hawk is decent. I think it is still probably not better than the Street Dragon. You can see I'm minus accuracy. I'm getting extra bullet, but I'm losing damage per bullet pretty meaningfully. My recoil is better, but I don't really care. My range is the same. Max range here doesn't really matter. You don't have usually enough accuracy yet for this to be really impactful, but it's there, I guess. The Street War Dog, you know, meaningful upgrade here over this base Urban Assault. We're still stuck at 16 meters, but hey, we get 150 per bullet. It's not horrible. Compare this, though, still to the Street Dragon, and I still take Street Dragon doing more damage per bullet. If I'm hitting 3 people, it's better here, but it's hard to hit 3 people at 16 meters early game, but, you know, maybe. Level 3 Blade, certainly an upgrade here. Worth noting the Sling Blade itself actually has pure damage on it. So you want to compare the Sling Blade to the Stun Stick. It's actually a more apt comparison. 60 pure versus 70 ballistic, or kinetic in this case. I would still take the Stun Stick, don't get me wrong. Stun Stick is still superior here, which is why I wouldn't bother going for the Sling Blade. Level 3 SMG, compared to the Autolit. 5 damage per bullet. A little bit of max range, which won't matter much here. It occasionally might matter here, but basically it's 5 damage per bullet, so not a huge deal, but it's something. We can go and compare to level 4 SMG, another 5 damage per bullet, another bullet here, a little bit of accuracy. Armor shred bump is nice, even more range, kind of nice. Although you're not really going to shoot at 8 meters off of optimal. With a scope, it'll help, but whatever. Yeah, level 3 blade, I think not terribly exciting. We get level 3 and level 4 sniper rifle, though, which is kind of nice. So the prior level 2 is the long sight red. You go to the MT hunter sight. We end up getting a lot of downgrades here, actually. Plus accuracy with minus damage. Shreds are relevant. Range is actually going to be worse as well. The upside is it's not as loud, and you get a 5th shot. I don't think it's terribly exciting here. Compared to the Jaguar, though, another accuracy, another 25 damage. 3 armor shreds starts to matter here, around 15%. Get range up again. Noise not very different. Arc is whatever here. Go back to 4 bullets, whatever. But hey, this is actually a half-decent sniper rifle, right? Let's compare, let's say, the first sniper in the game, which is here, compared to level 4 sniper. And what are you getting? I mean, 25% more damage, 3 accuracy, 5 shred, 5 to 2 range. Pretty exciting stuff. You have to, you know, manage your recoil a little bit, but you know, that's pretty solid. Compare starting SMG to level 4 street SMG. Oh, I screwed up the compare. Hang on. There we go. Compared to level 4 SMG. Can I click this? Wait, what's going on? There we go. Okay, that was just being weird. Yeah, so we got to compare the starting SMG to level 4 SMG. 3 accuracy, 15 damage per bullet, 2 more bullets, 5 shred. So max range, which is kind of whatever. A little bit of arc is useful. For a single target, 30 damage per bullet, still 3 accuracy, still that shred. Not bad. Compare maybe the... Oh yeah, and the other AR available is the Ironsides. So the Ironsides are better than Chrome Hawk. Sure, right? 8 damage per bullet, 3 shred, whatever. But would I take the Ironsides over the Street Dragon? Probably not. So the Street Dragon's in green. It's more accurate. It's got 1 fewer bullet, sure. But it's, what, 17 damage per bullet, ballistic, for 28 pure. So I'm still doing more damage per target. If I'm hitting exactly 2 people, 2 plus, it's a little bit closer, right? The extra bullet here, you know, might be enough to matter, but like it's kind of comparable. And then keep in mind the Street Dragon has more optimal range. You're gonna be accurate at more ranges. Still better arc. It's easy to hit 2 people in the area. Yeah, the recoil is still here, but you just gotta deal with it. Realistically, you're not gonna get a better gun than the Street Dragon on the street guns side, so don't bother really. Chicago series is the high-end Urban Assault. We can compare that one as well. Here you go. You get a high-end Urban Assault. You get plus 7 accuracy. You get plus 60 damage per bullet. So really big upgrade of 50% here. That's a really big deal. 50% more bullets as well. Massive, massive upgrade. Range isn't much better. Arc is better. But like, yeah, if you're going from Urban Assault 1 to Urban Assault 4, huge upgrade. Now, of course, again, if you can get the Torch XL, you're swimming in it. Right, all this stuff's the same. What you're getting is a free 42 pure damage. If you can, you know, if you can do it, great, right? So like I said, Strictly superior, right? If you can do it at all, just go here. If you can get the Rook Tech power play, you'd rather power play that. But again, you have to get the power play and then get the Rook Tech power play itself and then complete that, and that's 2 limit breaks. Going from Street Guns 2 to Street Guns 4 is also 2 limit breaks, and so hey, in that case, well, if you can manage to make it happen, this is Strictly superior, right? Like, I don't think there's any world where you'd say the Torch XL is not just a much, much better Chicago series. We can compare... I'm just keep doing comparisons real quick, right? Going from the Slugger to the 6-shot, 3 accuracy, 40 ballistic, 30 pure, 5 shred, 2 to 5 range. Pretty solid stuff. This is a meaningful upgrade. Again, it's not 50% more times 50% more like the UAR was, but, like, this is enough of an upgrade where you're pretty excited about it. We can compare the Power Club to maybe, like, the starting blade here. What do we get? 105 pure for 75 kinetic, clearly better. You get a nice accuracy bump. Arc doesn't really matter for Overwatch. 4 reload shots, you actually get stun stick PL3, so you get -10 evasion on the stun, which is kind of nice. Recoil doesn't really matter, of course. Compared to the Splicer blade, this is the armor shred blade. This one comes with only 1 shred. So at some point, there are higher level blades like this that will shred 2 armor per shot. It's not here though. 20% more damage per swing, 3 accuracy, some shred. Again, shred here as well. 5 ammo is kind of nice. This is now a very, very large battery to use, which can feel really good. And I guess we can also compare, like the base AR. Again, you're probably just going to buy the Street Dragon, but 20% more damage per bullet, 25% more bullets. Range kind of equivalent, all that kind of stuff. Same recoil, whatever. 10% more damage per bullet, single target, 2 accuracy. Not very exciting here, right? This is like not a very meaningful upgrade over the opening AR, right? Street Dragon just kind of carries. Looking at the pistols though, Defensor to the light fire here. 15 per bullet is not actually that exciting. 6 accuracy is okay. 2 max range is okay. The bigger upgrade, though, is the extra 50 damage on stealth kill. Now, keep in mind, every gun has a base 50% bonus damage on crit. So the Defensor crits at 2.5x, this crits at 3x. So it's another 20% more damage on crit, another 10 to 20% more damage per shot. Keep in mind, it actually matters here. That is a meaningful damage increase. So it's, you know, a real upgrade. It's definitely there. It's just not massive. So that's the rundown on street guns. There's not much else to bring up here. I think that's the whole set of guns there. So let's switch over and talk about what Origami Joe has and talk about the imported guns. So I'll try to not skip over something if I can help it. Yeah, so London Edge comes in when you start with imported weapons. Imported weapons, I believe, start at level 3. I'm double checking my notes real quick, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, imported starts at level 3. So there's imported 3 and then imported 4, and that's it. There's only one limit break to go, which makes it really convenient because there's actually a lot of pretty good stuff here. The Ironback X2 is one of them. So you come in and you get the London Edge, the Ironback X2, the NX Standard, the Autofire Liquid, the Kaza Rail Dart, and the Tiger Moss AQ. I believe these are the 6 that come in. So if you want to compare, like, hey, how does the opening blade compare to the London Edge? Well, 58 kinetic, right? It's pretty close here. About 20% more damage, some nice armor shred. You get the 140 for the pure damage. It's okay here. Right, compare the starting shotgun to the one that comes in, the Ironback X2, and you get double armor shred. You get very little extra damage, but you get functionally 1.24 armor shred per shot instead of 0.5 armor shred per shot. You also get the range upgrade, pretty solid stuff. If you're going to use shotguns for shredding, you're very happy. Basically, imported shotguns and crafted shotguns can have double armor shred. The other baseline ones don't. The NX Standard is an okay assault rifle. If you want to compare again to the starter here, it's going to be an improvement. You get 1 meter of range, you get 30 damage per bullet, but the real comparison again is the Street Dragon. NX Standard is in green, Street Dragon is below. What does this do? Well, I have less accuracy, I have 1 more bullet, I'm trading 25 ballistic for 28 pure, so I'm not getting more damage per bullet here. Shred is close enough, range is close enough. Noise is better, okay fine. Recoil is better, okay fine. But again, as long as you can solve recoil in Street Dragon, you're chilling. I wouldn't take this as an obvious upgrade by any means. One thing about the Tiger Moss EQ is actually it has minus range. It's a 12 meter range urban assault, which makes it a little bit scary, a little harder to use. But it's solid damage per bullet, not as good as the Chicago series, but it's okay compared to maybe like the level 2 urban assault here. And you're like, well, 20 damage per bullet, it's okay. We'll do the full comparison in a little bit, but kind of look at the basic upgrades here. Kaza Rail Dart's actually pretty sweet compared to the opening. SMG, this is the beginning of the line of what I call rail SMGs because they come out with innate pure damage. So, right, compared to the basic starter, accuracy, bullets all the same, but you get 40 pure damage per shot, which is a massive upgrade. This is roughly deal double damage. Right, this comes out of the box, you get imported weaponry, bam, you have a double damage SMG. That is really, really good. You get plus range, right? 4 meters optimal, 2 meters max. You lose some min range here, but figure it out. Just, it doesn't really matter. Your AP to reload is worse, that matters. It's still 6 shots though per clip, per magazine. You also get extra free 10% accuracy if they're under some level of cover. Whether they're obstructed, light cover, or high cover, you get 10% accuracy there, which is really nice. But you lose the shot for 1 AP, and again, your reload costs a little bit higher. I also make this, right, this is really, really good. This is pretty good stuff overall. I believe locked behind a limit break, but I could be wrong, is actually, I can check because my notes will have it. This is locked by the limit break, and I believe the NX long sight is as well. Let me double check real quick. No, the long sight actually comes out of the box here as well. So the long sight is a special fork of assault rifles where you get extra range here. There's only a few that are like this, only about like 2 or 3. But you get 5 meters of range, which starts to rival actual. It rivals actual. I'm sorry, my brain is blanking. I'll get there in a second, I promise. It rivals actual sniper rifles, which is pretty meaningful. Actually, worth noting, one thing I forgot is the NX Standard only has a 4-bullet magazine, which is not great. So I would just skip this entirely, go for the long sight. Keep in mind the price difference is 5k. Just always go long sight. It's just better in basically every case. A little bit of accuracy loss, sure. You got to make up for that somehow. That is meaningful damage, but you know your damage per bullet is pretty good. This is technically, like, expected value of damage per bullet is lower because of the accuracy loss. Like, that does matter. However, the 5 meters of range can let you get more people into the cone and have more successful, you know, max target shots here. Also, keep in mind, you've got more ammo in the magazine. Yes, the NX Standard has a 2 AP reload, but again, I'd rather have 6 shots in the magazine for the 3 AP reload. Generally going to be better. It lines up pretty well with how many AP it takes to swing in the first place, so yeah, I don't care. This is half decent. If you don't have a Street Dragon, you know, you might consider it. Again, we compare to the Street Dragon, and you know, again, 33 damage versus 28 pure damage. I take that. Street Dragon is more accurate. Street Dragon doesn't have the range. Okay, fine. But again, I'm not terribly excited about this just yet. Right? Not a big enough deal. We get the limit break though. Actually, we get this one as well. I'm going to double check that as part of the first limit break, and it is as part of limit break 3. So it's you know, immediately available. It's another one of the long-range sniper rifles with 40 meters, 42. So actually, we can compare it to the starter sniper that has that as well. If you wanted to go for the long sight here and play a long-range sniper, this comparison here, right? This is to be fair, right? This is available at the start of the game. This is available at like PL 2 or 3 when you get the when you complete the mission and you get access to imported weapons, right? Plus accuracy, plus 10% damage, 1 shred. This max range actually matters because you're already at 40 optimal, so it's literally just a 2 meter range increase, which is nice. Arc is whatever. 5th shot is nice. It's kind of free upside. Overall, pretty positive stuff there. The other fun thing, though, is you get this Satyr Assault V80. So it is one of the only orbital assaults in the game that has 40 armor shred instead of 30. So it breaks from form and gives you extra armor shred, which is kind of cute. You get up to 150 ballistic, which is pretty solid. 70 accuracy, pretty solid here. Just, you know, a pretty solid normal upgrade. This is locked behind the limit break, though. You have to upgrade the service itself to get here, so this kind of matters. These are all part of Fadelight blades, ignore that for now. The Ironback XD is the upgrade to the Ironback X2. This is part of Imported Weapons 4. You keep the double armor shred. You get to increase the chance to basically 1.3 instead of 1.24. Ballistic damage up by about 5%. Plus 1 optimal range. Plus 1 max range, definitely useful. I definitely take range here as a pretty big deal. Plus 1 reload. You know, it's nice, it's free, right? Just take it, it's there. Do I care about arc and noise? Not really very much. Recoil, not very much either. But we finally saved the best for last. The reason this is good is it's actually finally a gun that is better than the Street Dragon. The NX Trailblazer, if you are not able to craft the really good pure damage assault rifles in your nanofab, this is the best assault rifle that money can buy. If you can't craft one, it is the best assault rifle in the game that you can purchase right now because well, it's the only service with assault rifles in it. It's better than the level 4 street gun, so let's go. Compared to the Street Dragon, which was the up to now best assault rifle in the game, same accuracy, extra bullets, we get plus 6 pure damage, we get plus 28 ballistic damage. That's 20% more. That's about 20% more here as well. 25% more armor shred. I mean, plus 5%, whatever. The range is technically a little bit worse. That's fine. In all the ranges that matter, it's not a very big deal. The arc is good enough. The recoil is a bit worse. Okay, whatever. But finally, a gun that is an upgrade. So yeah, getting to imported ARs and then getting the limit break is really valuable because the NX Trailblazer is the mid-game AR, so you can craft the really sick ones. This is a very, very, very good gun. We can go ahead and turn the rest of the filters on, actually, so we can do more direct comparisons here, because we can now have all the shotguns and whatnot. We'll talk about the blades a little bit later. So we can like do a really quick look here, right? And say, hey, what about these pistols, right? So here's Defensor. Right, Defensor into Secure Shot is plus 10 damage. You get Street Guns level 4. You get Light Fire. You compare the Secure Shot to the Light Fire. You're only getting 2 actually 5 damage. It's not terribly exciting. But if you get imported guns, you get the Executive. And the Executive is just better than the Light Fire. So Executive's in red and green. -6 actually matters. You're getting plus 5 ballistic, plus 30 pure. That is a really big deal. 1 max range, not going to be important here. extra shot on the reload, I guess. Sure, why not? But if you're looking for the best pistol that you can't craft, it's this one, right? You're excited to get this. It's actually very, very good. This is, however, it's imported 4. You do have to limit break to get this one. And it's worth noting that, again, secure shot to light fire, 5 ballistic damage is not a big enough deal to be worth spending this price tag. I just wouldn't care, right? There's like nothing really that good in level 4 street guns to care about this. All right, we go on to talk about melees. There's, of course, a lot here. I guess I will quickly talk about what's in the Fadelight Blade set. It's these 3. So the Rio Edge versus the 9 Edge, 72 kinetic damage here. The 9 Edge versus the Night Song Edge, you get actually less kinetic, but you get more shred and more ammo. Up to you if you actually want to go that way or not, but you can if you want to. Doesn't look all that exciting, but hey, it's there as a possibility. Again, we can compare the basic slant blade to... actually, it's probably in this order, right? It's probably 9, then Rio, then Night Song. Let me double check, actually. Fadelight 5. Oh, actually, yeah. The Rio Edge is... No, wait. The Rio Edge is Fadelight 4, I'm pretty sure. Unless... Yeah, it's the... Wait, what? Okay, I feel like I'm hallucinating or something. Oh, the 9 Edge is the imported one. That's why. I'm silly, sorry. So this is an imported one. This comes out of Imported Weapons 4. That's this one. Fadelight 4 is the Rio Edge, and then Fadelight 5 is the Night Song Edge, and then Fadelight 6 is not on this save because I ran out of things. I can't have both the Fadelight blades upgrade and the other upgrade in the same space. Okay, right. So let's try to do apt comparisons here. Right, what you start with is the slant blade. Right, and when you get imported level 3, you get the London Edge, which is about 20% more damage. When you limit break it and get imported 4, you get the 9 Edge, which gives you this, right? So if you want to compare London Edge to 9 Edge, right, that upgrade here, you lose the shred, you gain accuracy, you gain even more damage. You know, pretty big upgrade from what you start with, right? This is a pretty meaningful damage upgrade of, what, like 40%? That's a pretty big deal. If you go into Fadelight blades, though, the Rio Edge here is only 20% more damage. Gives you some nice shred. I would probably take the Rio Edge, honest. I'd probably take the 9 Edge, right, if I'm going to compare. Right, this is from imported 4, this is from Fadelight. Right, here, we have imported in red and green. Yeah, I would probably take the imported one with the 70 extra damage over the shred. That sounds pretty good. But, you know, as Fadelight upgrades, we get another 20 flat damage here, we get some shred, we get a 3rd bullet. Again, I'd probably still take, right, here's imported 4 versus Fadelight 5. I probably still take imported 4. Yeah, some accuracy, but, like, I'll probably take imported 4. So Fadelight blades, not looking terribly exciting at the very start here. The Splicer blade is part of Street Guns 4. Didn't really talk about it very much. Power Club 2000 is part of Street Guns 4 as well. And then the Kin blade is part of Street Weapons. So what you're really going to do when you start the game, right, is go from the slant blade, and you're going to just buy a stun stick. Stun stick only costs 9k more than the stunner. Why not just buy it? 20 kinetic, 10 pure. Might as well go here. So if you're going to actually play melee, I'd recommend buying this. It's cheap. It's the best thing you can buy. And what you can do is then when you get Street Guns 4, get the Power Club. 25 kinetic, 15 pure, 3 accuracy. 200k is a pretty big price tag, but once you have Street Guns 4, you're fine. Power Club 4 versus maybe the max level imported weapon. Okay, well, Street Guns 4 versus imported 1. Well, imported 3 technically. This is 200 kinetic, again 100 pure. That's a fair trade, actually. This is pretty equivalent in a lot of cases. Obviously, different power slice, 180 pure damage versus a stun with minus evasion. The clubs at the bottom, the club has 4 ammo. The imported sword has 2. So honestly, I'm feeling like the best melee weapon in the game. And you can maybe at like Fadelight 7 or something, it gets better. I want to know, actually, by the way, that the Fadelight 6 blade is 460 kinetic. It is actually better than this. It's 68 accuracy here, like this. It's 460 instead of 432 kinetic here. And then the stealth crit is 65. And this power slice is 220 instead of 180. So Fadelight 6 is finally better than imported, but realistically, until you get to Fadelight 6, just like the Power Club, it's the best you can buy. I think the Splicer Blade, we can look at the E-Cutter versus the Knot Edge. These are all street guns from what I can tell. Yeah, they're all street. There are no, currently, at least from what I can see, imported or otherwise E-Cutters. They're all just craftable or from street. So, right, compare level 1 to level 2. Same armor cutter active. Actually, no, this does give you armor cutter too. So you can slice 2 armor shred. So you don't get as much armor shred like innately, but you get 2 protection points and a really, really massive like 25% damage increase. Go to Splicer Blade. It actually goes back to slice one at a time, which is kind of funny. And basically the nat is just better, right? Like, yeah, so Splicer Blades in red and green. Like, yeah, I get, like, a bit of accuracy to make it for the damage loss, and I get more base on Armor Shred, but, like, yeah, I'll just take Street Guns 3, get Armor Cutter 2, and, like, use this for its actual purpose, so I, feel like I wouldn't go for Splicer Blade very much. We look at Assault Rifles. Again, basically, you just go for the Street Dragon right away. It's the best gun you can get, and then up until you can get the NX Trailblazer, Street Dragon is the best thing you can buy. This is every single AR you could possibly purchase, and if we ignore the Street Dragon, okay, we go from the Rykon to the Swift Kit, pretty much strict upgrade. Go from the Swift Kit to the Chrome Hawk, pretty much strict upgrade. Go from the Chrome Hawk to the Ironsides on Street Guns, pretty much strict upgrade. Compare the Chrome Hawk to maybe the NX Standard. Again, still looking pretty better. We'll compare to the Ironsides. Now, the Standard, keep in mind, has a smaller magazine size, but we have the best street gun possible versus the baseline imported gun. And, damage and accuracy are all better. Just the magazine's kind of weird. Compare the Ironsides to the long sight. Accuracy is a little bit worse, but you're getting more damage. You're getting more range. I would take this probably in most cases. Then obviously the Trailblazer is just sick. So realistically, buy a Street Dragon, wait for a Trailblazer. That's you. Go look at shotguns. SR-17 is what you start with. You get the SR Destroyer. Cool. It's an upgrade. If you want to go for shotguns, you get some damage here. You go to the Warthog, you get more. Compare the Destroyer to the Warthog, right? Strict upgrade. Okay, great. That, I believe, do we have a... Is there a fourth street shotgun? I think no, right? Yeah, there's no fourth street shotgun. So you get Street Guns 3, you're at Warthog, you're done. This is what you have. This is your stuff. You get 2 imported guns, and you get the Ironback X2, the Ironback XD. These now come with double Armor Shred. You're pretty excited about that one. So we compare maybe to the Warthog, max level street gun, and we go to the Ironback X2, and it's like, well, actually, less damage, but I get more shred. Is that worth it? I don't know. Go to the Ironback XD, still less damage, still more shred. Is it worth it? Maybe. So if you're going for pure damage, that's where you go. But here are the only 2 imported shotguns. Again, you lose out on damage, right? They barely do more damage than the starting shotgun, right? Plus 4 ballistic. This is plus 22 ballistic, but they give you double shred, okay? Well, the best street gun is at Street Guns 3. It's a Warthog. You get the Koso 13. Pretty solid. 30 flat damage. Now, again, this is locked behind, get the power play as a limit break, get the Pacific power play as a limit break, and then get a limit break that upgrades to Rook Tech 5. So it's 3, right? This is 3 limit breaks minimum before you get this. This is 1 limit break before you get it. But, okay, 3 limit breaks later. Decent damage upgrade, 8% or so. 5 shred, 1 meter. Okay, fine. We go from the Koso to the Loader. The Loader is... I thought the Loader had something special, but I guess it doesn't. 10 ballistic, 3 accuracy, 2 shred, another 1 meter that was good. But this is like a pretty small upgrade for a limit break. We go to the Wrecker. Wrecker, another 10 ballistic, another 4 shred. Not terribly exciting. It's a small upgrade here. Then go from the Wrecker to the heavy bit. 15 ballistic, 2 accuracy. This is, of course, many limit breaks down the line, right? It's, what, 7 limit breaks to get here? 5? Hold on. Power play. And then upgrade to 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's 6 limit breaks. So after 6 limit breaks, you can get the heavy bit. And I would say this probably does out damage all the other shotguns in the game. Maybe if you get a good craft. I mean, I talked about it earlier, right? Compared to the craft, it's like relatively close, but the crafts have double armor shreds, and I'm just not sure this is actually better. But it's there. It's not terrible, I would say. As far as e-rifles, of course, we've already overlooked the burner mouth. I don't have it on one of my saves here, so I can't bring it up, but it's going to be worse than these. Go from the Rook Ultra H8 to the Techno Violent, and really just excited about this one. It's more damage, it's more bullets, more accuracy, it's more everything, it's more range. 16 meter range is actually playable. Just, really good stuff here. Compared to the H13, you lose a lot of the accuracy, you get a little bit more damage per bullet. Is it worth it? I don't know, maybe. Compared to sniper rifles, right? Street Scout is what you start with here. You can go up to the long sight red. Let me double check something real quick, which is... yeah, so everything but this is all from Street Guns. This is the one lone imported sniper rifle, so Street Gun to long sight red, 20% more damage, 5 meters of range, cool. Go from long sight red to the hunter sight, you limit broken. What do you get? Well, you get less damage, a bit more accuracy, sure. I mean, expected damage per shot is gonna be better here, but you lose the 5 meter range here. Yeah, you get a 5th shot, but I'm not sure I'd actually want this. The minus range actually matters here. You bring the noise back down, okay, fine, but I don't know if I want this. But you go to the Jaguar XPE, and now you're kind of excited again. You actually bring the range back up to 40, so we'll go to the long sight. 5 accuracy, a little bit of damage, some shred. The max range, again, matters a lot. You bring the noise into something reasonable. This is actually pretty worthwhile, right? Compare to the Street Scout, and you're like, yeah, right? I go to Street Guns 4, I'm like very excited by having a clearly better sniper rifle. The, of course, alternative option here is the imported sniper rifle, so we'll compare imported 3 to Street Guns 4. Right, Street Guns 4 is up top. Street Guns 4 is more accurate. It's a little bit less damage. Again, by math, this is better DPS still for Street Guns 4 here. Same range, you know, shred is kind of whatever, better noise. Like, realistically, yeah, if you're going for sniper rifles, Street Guns 4 looks pretty solid. Now, again, crafted is still better, but it's there. So as far as SMGs are concerned, rapid fire, autolit, Uzi, and then razor wire, I believe, is the Street Guns progression. Double checking, and the answer is yep. This is the basic Street Guns progression, and then these are the imported guns. I want to point out that both of them are at imported 3. I'm double checking this as well. Where does the autofire liquid come from? Hang on, Oh, I don't have it written down. Okay, interesting. I'll have to figure out. Let's see. If I hide Diego, the autofire liquid is still there, which means it's got to be from Origami Joe, right? Which means it's got to be a street gun. Or no, actually, it could still be imported, right? Wait, no, hold on. It's the other way around. Joe has the imported guns. Diego has the street guns. Okay, so the autofire liquid is actually an imported gun. Okay. Got it. Yeah, these are imported. Okay, that's what I thought. I just, for some reason, didn't take the notes there, and I'm missing that. So I'll have to add that. And I'll have to double check if it's imported 3 or imported 4, but I'm pretty sure it's imported 3. The price tag, I think, is imported 3. Anyway, refocusing. Going for the rapid fire to the autolit. 5 damage per bullet. 1 more bullet. Not bad. Going from the autolit to the Uzi 23D. 5 damage per bullet. Not bad. Going from the Uzi to the razor wire. Another 5 damage per bullet, plus 1 bullet. Not bad. A little bit of max range, which doesn't really matter. A little bit of shred, which is fine. The more interesting comparison, though, is to the autofire liquid. So this is, I believe, imported 3. So we'll compare it from Street Guns 4. Okay, we'll compare to Street Guns 3 then. So compared to Street Guns 3, it's a little bit of accuracy, 10% more damage. Cool stuff. But comparing imported 3 to Street Guns 4, I mean, it's up to you, right? If you're gonna have 3 people in the AoE, then you will indeed rather have the razor wire. If you don't, though, if you're only hitting 2 people with your 16 meters of range, then the autofire liquid's actually gonna be a bit better. Now, the shred kind of matters, but these are, you know, relatively comparable. Up to you to make that call. I would probably take the autofire just because I think I would rather, well, the shred chance is nice here. Okay. The razor bar is pretty good. What are the cause of rail dart, though? What do you get? Well, minus accuracy, minus ballistic damage, plus 40 pure. It's just better. And the range is a lot nicer, which makes it actually pretty playable and lets you get some decent damage going. It's actually much more likely to hit 2 people. And again, even the accuracy is minus 3 here. Piercing is going to make up for that sometimes. I will say obstructed is actually relatively common. It's just like a barrel is between you and the enemy. That's quite common. So realistically, this is a 75 accuracy SMG, which is really good. It's more accurate. It's got more range. It's got more damage per bullet. And it's not that likely that this thing's going to hit 3 people. So, I mean, it's just your best. It's just the best SMG that you can buy. You go to revolvers. These are actually all straight up street guns. Nothing comes out of imported here. So Slugger to Mauler, 10 ballistic, 10 pure, 3 shred. Mauler to Kicker, 15 ballistic, 10 pure, nothing else. Kicker to 6 shot, 15 ballistic, 10 pure, 2 shred, and range. Yeah, if you're going for revolvers, you're actually excited about this. Range is definitely very, very useful. And it's a big enough damage upgrade that you go from the Slugger to the 6 shot, and you're like, yeah, 40 ballistic, 30 pure, 2 shred, 2 meters of optimal, 5 meters of, I mean, you're never going to shoot at 30 range here, don't get me wrong. But if you put scopes and grips on that increase optimal range, you can get like plus 5 or 6 optimal, which puts you at 26 versus 30, which is pretty good compared to maybe like 24 versus 25, which, right, like, you compare to, right, if you look at this and you add plus 6 from mods, you're still capped at 25. You go plus 6 from mods here, 30 meters is like quite meaningful. So this 2 delta is not as important when you use mods. This 5 delta is. So real big upgrade there. We go to the urban assaults, and I think there are some real upgrades here. So we'll go for the street progression first, which is bull assault to X close, 20 damage per bullet plus 1 bullet. Go from the X close to the street war dog, another 20 damage per bullet plus 1 bullet. Go from the street war dog to the Chicago series, another 20 damage per bullet plus 1 bullet. This is really, really aggressive scaling. This is really, really good, and it means that compared to level 1, bull assault for Chicago series, yeah, 50% more damage per bullets, 50% more bullets, more accuracy. Really, really good stuff. Really excited about this one. Really, really good stuff. The other side of it, though, is this is the first imported assault rifle. And you compare to like Street 3 to imported 3, and it's like, well, the Tiger Moss CQ has a little bit of accuracy, has 1 more bullet, but I'm losing 4 meters of range. Why would I bother? This ain't me. I'm not buying this ever. This sounds horrible. Compared to the Street War Dog to the Seder Assault, okay, I get imported 4. I'm comparing to the Street War Dog. All right, it's a Street War Dog with 10 armor shred. Sure, right? It's actually cheaper as well, by the way. Now, some of this is because Origami Joe sells it, and Origami Joe is minus 5% price, but it's still better. So, like, if you get imported 4, you're pretty excited because imported 4 is better than Street 3. But honestly, if I can get Street 4, yeah, price tag's higher, but I get accuracy, I get bullets, I get damage per bullet, I get max range, which will matter with mods. Arc occasionally matters here. Yeah, noise is worse, recoil is worse, armor shred's worse, whatever. But honestly, Street Urban Assault's looking pretty nice. However, they don't compare to the Torch. The Torch comes in with baseline same ballistic accuracy, just comes with free pure damage, and then it just gets better from there, going to the Carousel. Caracol? Whatever. Anyway, yeah. You jump to here and you're excited. Torch versus Bodyguard, not worth it. Torch, because you know pure damage. Torch versus Fire Sweeper, not worth it. Torch versus Caracol. Yeah, finally a strict upgrade, so there you go. Street 4 looking pretty nice. Actually, the entire progression here is pretty nice. These are all meaningful upgrades. When you get the Torch, you're sick with it until you get the Big Brother. No railguns in the game right now, so that's going to be it for that. However, we do have weapon mods to go through. So this is going to be a little bit tougher. So Diego has maxed out street mods. Now, as you can, so his service is street mods level 4, and it's a little bit hard to compare all these. There's too much to go through, really. There's so many filters to talk about here. And then you compare to what Joe has for imported weapons, and again, the lower level stuff is the same street guns here that you can have already. There's just so much going on here that's going to be a little bit annoying to go through all of it here. I mean, it's already an hour-long video, so realistically, I guess I'll just go for like the biggest hits. The Ultra Heavy Barrel is a slightly better mass driver to 3 ballistic, 2 pure damage. Okay. As far as silencers are concerned, you can get slightly better silencers here. This one, I believe, comes from imported. Actually, we can double check that by seeing who sells it. Yep, Joe sells it. Diego does not. So the better barrel mod comes from street guns. The better silencers come from imported. As far as body mods, you can get a little bit something here. Some ammo extenders. Here's the baseline grip. You actually really do want to get this one if you can. I believe it comes from street guns. Plus 3 accuracy is really, really nice. If you want to take plus ammo, you can. But getting a better mod here for plus accuracy is pretty useful. You can put on revolvers, which is nice. As far as optics concerned, you can get the phase shift red dot for a better version of the hunter red dot. So 1 accuracy and 1 range. Pretty nice stuff there. AR optics are probably the other exciting one here, where you can basically start with the Holo G scope and then you can get this one. I'll double check who it's from. It is not imported at street, so if you can get street scopes, street mods up, you can get 1 accuracy, and I guess all it gives you is 1 accuracy, so not terribly exciting. That's most of what's actually worth talking about here as far as I'm concerned. These are not bad, actually. Go from the G-Vent Gripper, or G-Vent Ripper to the Shiab Vent. Only gives you minus recoil, doesn't give you anything else that's too special. Going from this grip to this one, though, actually does matter. Plus 2 accuracy, okay, fine. Also better recoil reduction, nice as well. You can get plus magazine size, okay. Yeah, honestly, nothing terribly outstanding to talk about here. The better stuff is still the imported. I mean, at the end of the day, right, we put the filters on, and we say, what's the best thing you have? And it's like, you know, stuff is like very slightly better than what you came in with at the very start of the game. The crafted stuff's just better. And so the mods aren't ultimately terribly exciting as upgrade paths. They're fine. They're not bad by any means. It's worth spending the money. It just is. It's just true that way. But yeah, hopefully that rundown was useful. And you can shop effectively yourself going forward. Well, thanks for watching. See ya.